was one of, like, oh no! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am bringing you another mukbang video. This one was more of a requested video. I asked you guys on my Instagram what food you wanted to see me do and what kind of video you wanted me to film. You guys said fettuccine alfredo, or alfredo, and cookie dough. Today I have made some homemade fettuccine alfredo, and I have some vegan chicken here that I'll be adding in later. It just didn't look super pretty with it on top, so I left it off, but I'll be adding it on later. And then here I have some double chocolate cookie dough, regular cookie dough, and peanut butter cookie dough. I'm so excited to try those. I didn't make these. These two are from Whole Foods. Two of their flavors they didn't have, so I made my own with some of the regular cookie dough and just mixed in some cocoa powder. And hopefully it'll taste good, I don't know. So I'm gonna put some of the chicken on top. The chicken, it's a burger patty. I used the Boca Burgers chicken patty. I think that's what it's called. I think it's just their original vegan Boca burger. I'm really excited. I had Alfredo once in my life. I remember I liked it a little, but I don't remember liking it a lot. So we'll see how this tastes. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make a mess, but this looks so good. Bro, that's really good. Wow. So the recipe for this I actually got from Maddie Limburner on her YouTube channel. It's an older video, but I will link it down below. I'm making a mess. So for today's mukbang, I'm going to be sharing some crazy experiences I've had in my life. I've had a pretty crazy life, so. The thing I like about making my own stuff is that I can make it the way I like it, and I can add what I want to it. It's less expensive. There's just a lot good about making my own stuff. The strips. They go along with it so perfectly. And then on the side, I have some almond chocolate milk. Why is that so much better than I remember it tasting before? Okay, the experiences I have here are, some are crazy and some are funny, but I wanted to add them all into one because, yeah. So, my friend wanted me to talk about this. She wanted me to leave her anonymous. So, in my freshman year of high school, there was an area by the theater where my friends and I would sit and eat lunch. There were poles, okay, around the benches that we sat at. It became a daily thing for my friend to go up to this pole and start dancing on it. She wasn't doing anything like horrendous or anything like that, but like it just became a super funny thing that happened and a thing that she would do all the time. And sometimes people would come to that area and she would still do it. That was a pretty funny experience. It's kind of one of those experiences where you have to be there for it to be funny, but I thought I should share that, and because she wanted me to, so there you go. I hope you're happy. Oh my gosh, so the next experience was actually kind of scary. I was with my family. We were going around town. We came across this guy selling candy-coated fruits, and so we got some, and I took a bite out of one and didn't chew my food like my parents tell me to all the time. What do you think happened? I started choking, and it was a really scary experience. I remember my uncle was there, and he was like trying so hard to get me out of the crowd. It was really scary. It was scary. I was okay, obviously, I'm still here, but it was just a really crazy experience, and I don't ever want to experience that again. No. Okay, I've been dying to try these, so I'm gonna go with the one that I made. This one is the double chocolate chip. What? That is so good. The flavors on that are just so good. And it's really light and fluffy, and it goes down super easily. I could eat a lot of these. Okay, I'm gonna add on more chicken. Okay, so this is the regular cookie dough. Looks really good. Wow. Wow, that is so good. Okay, so the next experience, I have my little notes here so I don't forget any of them. So every summer, my family and I get together with my dad's side of the family and we go camping, which involves tubing and skiing and all of those fun things. And the tubing is definitely my favorite thing. Always has been, always will be. But when I was really young, I want to say I was like 4, I was with one of my older cousins. He was just a lot older than I was and much bigger than I was. So we hit a wave, a little bump, you know. I went flying. I don't know how high I went. Felt like I was like 20 feet in the air. Obviously it was not that high, but I went so high. And when I landed on my cousin's lap in the other side of the tube. It was so funny. My dad always tells me, he's like, when I got to you, you said, I want to do that again. I was a crazy child. And then another experience on the tube. I was about, I want to say 15, and I was with my cousin who is the same age as I am, and my grandpa decided to do something he probably shouldn't have. So he decided to do a volcano, and if you don't know what that is, it's when he goes around in circles. I call it a volcano. Some people call it like a whirlpool or whatever. I call it a volcano. Basically, he goes around in circles and makes a bunch of waves, and then he goes through that. My cousin and I, we were not ready, but we went through. Anyway, obviously we flipped out of the tube. There's no way. But I remember, I literally, it was so funny. I was terrified because I'd never been flipped out of the tube before. And so when I came above water, I was looking for my cousin. There was a huge wave. Like, I swear you could surf on those waves. They were so big. And I just see this blue shoe drifting across, and I was like, I think my cousin's dead. But then he popped out of the water right next to me, and he's like, my feet are so cold. And I was like, yeah, I think I just saw your water shoe flowing across the horizon. And then I look in the distance and I see his other shoe just chilling like it's the best time of its life. So that was a really, really funny experience. I've never forgotten that one. We joke about it all the time. It's really funny. Okay, I'm gonna try the peanut butter cookie dough now. Sorry, I had a little bit of a technical difficulty. I don't know what just happened. The camera like paused for a second, but anyway, the next story. My sister and I used to ride our bikes all the time. We would actually pretend that our bikes were horses. There was this one time, there was like this, I have no clue what to call it, but it was basically this like big cement thingy with a bunch of plants in the middle. And so we were riding around that opposite directions, and I would yell outside, and she would go on the outside, I go on the inside, and then I'd say switch, switch, and we kept switching. And then one of the times, I don't know if we had like a miscommunication or something, but head on. We smashed into each other so hard. It was so funny. We couldn't stop laughing, especially because when we looked down at our bikes, our tires, so like here's the handle and here's a tire. This is the tire, okay? They were like this. They were to the side. And it looked so funny. We could not stop laughing. But we eventually got them fixed and oh my gosh, it was so funny. And they weren't super hard to fix anyway, because we just had to turn it so it was straight. I thought I wasn't going to like this one that much, but I actually really like it. Because I'm not a huge fan of like nut chunks in my food or desserts, but these ones are kind of soft, so it's really good. I don't know. It's different. I also love how easy these are to eat. Oh my gosh, so another bike experience. My sister and I, once again, were biking around, and I have a huge fear of spiders, okay? And I looked down and I saw a little spider crawling on my bike, and I freaked out. I jumped off my bike skid across the ground. I started screaming, I was shaking, and my sister comes back over and she's like, "What, are you okay, are you okay?" And I'm like, "There's a spider on my bike," and I was like crying and I was so scared. And I remember I looked at her and I was like, "Am I going into shock?" And she started laughing and she said, "Cambria, you're stupid. That is not shock." It was so funny, and I was still really scared, but even I started laughing. It was so funny. Oh my gosh, so the next story. My dad used to go to this school to play basketball when I was younger, and we would go with him sometimes. We just liked to go because he would buy us fast food after, so. But it was also really fun because there's just a lot to do, and it was fun to explore the school. And there was one time that my sister and I, we were in this little area and there were couches, and I was trying to be funny and I was trying to hop over the back of the couch, but these couches were pretty cheap couches and they were very light. And my sister, I just love her point of view. She said, "I look down to put my Game Boy in my pocket and I look up after hearing a big bang and I just see my sister's legs go." It was so funny. Oh my gosh, that was one of like oh no! We always talk about that experience. It's so funny. Okay, the next story. I feel like all my funny experiences are with my sister, basically. There was this one time, we were sitting down having a family dinner, and our brothers were being kind of annoying, and we didn't like it, so we had a plan. So I'm here, my brother, and then I have another brother on the end, and my sister's next to me. And I was like, okay, so we have a little bit of water left in our cups, so I'm gonna splash him, and you're gonna splash him. And when she's like, "Oh yeah, that's such a good idea." No. So I said on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And literally the same exact time, I don't know what we were thinking, our cups collided and mine shattered. You can't see it, but I still have a scar on my thumb because I got a piece of glass in my thumb. Lesson learned, especially when you have glass cups, like, what were we thinking? I don't know. I can't get over this one. So As you can tell from all these experiences that I've shared so far, I was a pretty stupid child. And I'm not saying that I'm any better now, but there was one time, this was before I was vegan, I wanted some toast, and the butter that I had was very hard. So I put it in the microwave, not really comprehending the fact that the wrapper on the outside was aluminum. Yeah. It exploded. I was so scared, and I whipped open the microwave door and it was on fire and I was freaking out, and so I like yanked it out. I don't know what I was thinking, like bare hands yanked it out of the microwave. I was freaking out so bad, but it was my own fault, so. If you're vegan and you miss Alfredo, please try this recipe. It is really, really good. I don't really remember exactly how Alfredo tastes like because it's been such a long time. If you gave this to me and said it was Alfredo, I would have been like, I like Alfredo. I highly recommend this recipe. So back to my stupid clumsy butt, I have yet another experience that has to do with kitchen appliances. I wanted to just, you know, practice my baking when girls shouldn't have. I turned on the oven without looking in the oven, and it was just me and my brother home alone, and I smelled a really weird smell, and I kind of freaked out, and I was like, I didn't check the oven. Because sometimes my mom, she leaves baked goods in there to keep them warm when she's really just hiding them from us. I opened the microwave door, or the oven door. There is this blue bowl just dripping down the oven. I still remember, it literally looked like frosting. It was dripping. It was so bad. And I like started calling for my brother, even though he's younger than me. I don't know what I thought he was gonna do. It was such a bad experience, but good thing my mom came home just a few minutes later, because that would have been really bad. I would have been running around the house like, and then the house would have burned down. So, yeah. And I have yet again another kitchen story. This time though, it was with my best friend, Rachel. You know Rachel. We were trying to make ramen once again before I was vegan, and I was stupid and forgot that I had a hot stove. And so I went to serve the ramen into my bowl. Setting it on the stove I just used to cook the ramen. You can only guess what happened. I tried to remove the bowl from the stove, and I got a bunch of strings of plastic because the bowl melted. I don't know what I was thinking. I just should not be allowed in the kitchen. And we still have that bowl. It wasn't super damaged. It was just like the bottom portion, like the rim on the bottom. So we still have it, and I still use it quite often. I'm actually kind of glad we still have it because it's like a cherished memory holder. So I'm really glad we kept the broken bowl. We didn't keep the other one though. The one from the oven. No, that was destroyed. That was half melted. I'm sorry, Mom. So it was my senior year of high school. I used to go to shows a lot. They were kind of more like hardcore shows because that's what I was into at the time. My first show that I went to, there was moshing and a trash can got thrown. I have a video, so I'll insert it here. I don't know what the guy was thinking. They started throwing my home around, which was really disrespectful, I think. Not all the shows were that crazy though. I don't know what that guy was on. Obviously something. Maybe he wasn't on anything. You know, I do some stupid stuff, as you guys have heard from this video. So this next one, I wouldn't really consider a crazy experience. I just think it's a really cool, no, it's pretty crazy. It's not like, what did you do kind of story. I got VIP tickets for Christmas to go see and meet David Archuleta. I just wanted to add this in there because it was just one of the coolest experiences. David Archuleta was my childhood. I listened to him on repeat daily. He was a 24/7 ritual for me. It was just my childhood. And I don't know how to explain it, but he's just, you can play him anytime and it will make me feel so much better no matter what my mood is. It was just a really cool experience, so I wanted to share. This is like 15 servings, so I'm obviously not going to finish it all. I'm already starting to get full, but I gotta finish my story, so hold on. Okay, this next story is probably one of my favorites. So it was my first time skiing. I was with my dad and my 2 older sisters. This is going to be a bit longer because there's lots of things that happened this day. So we were going up the mountain on the ski lift. We get there and right as I get off, I fall, of course. And I finally get up, like after 5 minutes of trying, and I look over to my sister and she is flipping like, it was movie material, guys. Her whole body, like, straight. She was like, wow. It looked so funny. And my initial reaction, I was like, ha ha ha. But then I was like, oh shoot, that could have killed her. My dad rushed over to her because he knows how to ski. If I tried to get over to her, I would have run off the mountain. So my dad went over to her. Yes, she sprained her wrist, but it was just one of the funniest things. Oh my gosh, we laugh about it all the time now. I mean, it could have been really serious. And it was really scary at the time, but we just laugh about it now because it's a really funny experience. I dare you guys to try this recipe. The next experience is also skiing. I was just having a really hard time. Well, first of all, it was my first time skiing, but also I just think I suck at skiing. One of my skis came off. My boot was still on, but the ski actually came off. I was trying to get it back on, but I was on a hill. So I gave up trying to get my shoe back or my boot back on the ski. I just set it down on top. I sat down on the back of my skis and I zipped down the rest of the way on my butt. I was such a loser. I'm just kidding, I wasn't a loser. I actually remember being really scared though. It was really, really fun, don't get me wrong, but just all of the possibilities of death, it was really scary. So this next experience. So like I said, every summer my family and I, we get together, but on my mom's side we go to a resort. There was one time I was out in the back of one of the condos that we were staying at, because the way that it was more like a cabin kind of thing, and so I was in the backyard and I decided to wander off a little bit, you know, me being me, the careless person that I was. And along the road, which was right next to the cabins, there's a horse, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's a horse. Let me go pet it. Of course, that would be the first thing I think. And so I slowly go to walk up to it. There's no rider or anybody near it, and my cousins aren't with me. I think one of them actually was with me, but she stayed way back. And it sees me and it starts charging. It runs at me and I was so scared. I swear I peed myself. I was so scared. I booked it back to the condo and I made it in and I was fine. The owner ended up coming to get the horse, but it was such a scary experience. Oh my gosh. I think that was the fastest I've ever run in my freaking life. Okay, so I'm gonna share my last experience. My last experience, I'm not going to go into detail because I'm saving this for a future video, but this last experience is probably one of the crazy experiences in my entire life. I moved to China and I lived there for 8 years of my life. That's pretty crazy in itself, but there I had so many experiences. It was just amazing. So I'm going to be making another mukbang where I talk all about it. I can't wait to film that one because I'm really excited. But I wanted to talk about something that happened there. We were at this science museum that we would go to a lot. My brother's running along this one part of it, and he runs into this little boy and knocks this little boy down. Keep in mind, it's just me and my sisters. My oldest sister was able to take care of us then. So the little boy, he's fine. He gets up, but then the little boy's dad comes. He starts screaming at us in Chinese. We don't know what he's saying because we weren't super familiar with the language yet. But my sisters may remember it differently, and maybe even my brother remembers it differently, but I remember him like screaming at us. My oldest sister ended up calling my dad, and she's like, "Dad, there's this Asian guy screaming at us. We don't know what to do." Then he was on the phone with my dad and they were talking, and it was just a big mess. I found out that the guy was trying to take us for money because, you know, in China a lot of people think that foreigners have a lot of money and they're very wealthy. We weren't at the time because we just moved to China and my dad was having job issues and stuff like that. And anyway, long story short, he wanted to take us to his car and then have my dad come and get us and pay him. That didn't end up happening, but it was just a really crazy experience. It's fine, we're all good, and I love Asians. You know, Asians have that special place in my heart. Alright guys, that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed all of my crazy experiences. Make sure to comment if you want to see that China storytime mukbang. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!